First of all, you saying clearly a travel means that you would actually know something. So if you don't have rules to support what you're saying, then, and if you've never seen this move before, what is backing you?
MDW Basketball, Milton Chavis, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Chilling, same mode.
You've been making a lot of waves recently, you know, with your videos and everything. We're gonna get into that, but I wanted to kind of take it back a little bit. You're from Raleigh originally. Yeah. Kind of speak about your experience, like what got you, your passion for the game, what got you into it?
So, I mean, I started playing at a younger age, but I would say I started taking it seriously probably in like 7th grade. Just working out on my own, trying to get better, finding ways to get better myself. I didn't really have, you know, a trainer or any really tools like that. You know, my parents didn't play, so they didn't really have much knowledge of the game. So I just would watch Kobe or just watch, you know, my favorite players and try to emulate what they did. Watch and one mixtapes and stuff like that.
Where'd you go to middle school? Like in Raleigh.
I went to numerous middle schools. Went to Wake Forest, 6th grade, Apex, 7th grade.
I was kind of on the same.
Then,
I went to like 3 middle schools myself,
yeah.
so yeah, I was kind of on the same
And
track.
then I went to East Garner my 8th grade year, and that's the year I met John.
That's what's up. Then you went to Word of God your freshman year?
I went to Garner for 3 years, and then I transferred to Word of God for my senior year.
So were y'all teammates when you got to Word of God, or he already graduated and left?
Oh no, I'm older than him. So
okay.
He was a junior when I was a senior here.
That's when he was starting to take off.
Yeah, he took completely off.
Yeah. How was that like being his teammate?
It was dope, man. It was dope just being a part of something special. But every day I felt like I had something to prove, and I always took the challenge of guarding him in practice, or I would do little things to challenge myself, knowing that I didn't have the name that he had, or even Dez had at the time, CJ had at the time, so I had to kind of find my way. But he was a great teammate. He wasn't a selfish guy, so everybody was able to eat. And we did some great things, man. I was a part of something that was really special, and it kind of set the tone for the rest of my basketball career. Like with the confidence that I had playing against other talent, I was already used to doing that.
What made you finally decide to go to Morehead State?
So, I mean, I had a long journey, man. I went from here, so I wasn't really focused in the classroom, so I had to take extra steps. So I went to prep school after that, still didn't get it. And then I went to junior college, and that's when everything clicked for me. I got my grades together. I got myself together. I started to mature a little bit. I had to get over some I would say anger issues type of thing, you know, especially on the basketball floor. I'm being able to control my emotions and stuff like that. I was in the process of trying to get to a Division I college, but I didn't know what was going to happen out of junior college. I went to one of the best junior colleges in the country, Kilgore College in Texas, and you know, all my recruiting was in July, and school started in August. You know what I mean? So I didn't even get a chance to visit Morehead State before I signed.
Enrolled in the school, or signed and enrolled.
And you know, they came in and they, you know, had told me about the history. They told me about Kenneth Faried going to the NBA the year prior. So I was like, you know, if I wanted to have an opportunity to play at the next level, this is the place for me.
You had a good 4-year career. I noticed, you know, when I was looking at your numbers, every year it kind of went up.
Yeah.
You know, because I think it was like 4 or 5, then 9, and then it started going up.
Yeah.
So a lot of people can't even say, you know, they were a Division I athlete. Right. You know, and playing. How was it? You know, your entire like college experience, just playing there.
For me, and I know for a lot of people, it was a huge learning experience for me, because pretty much prior to that, I had only played 3 years of basketball under the whistle. You know what I mean? Like meaningful basketball, not rec league and stuff like that. So, you know, for me, that was, you know, usually most guys, you know, when they bloom early, they learn in high school, or they learn early in high school, or they learn in a little bit of things in middle school. But I didn't have the benefit of doing that, right? So when I got to college, that's when I started learning. You know what I mean? So everything was a little bit later for me. So by the time I got comfortable being the player that I was a pro already. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was a blessing that God was able to kind of help me through all that stuff. And I still had the athleticism to compete and stuff like that. But as far as knowledge of the game and knowing what it took to really be good, I didn't have that. You know what I mean? So when I got to being a pro, and that was all I did, man, my first year I averaged 29. You know what I mean? So, and then my second year, I played pretty well, but I started to lose my love for the game, the business side, and a lot of things that people don't even know about. I know how good I am, but it's about proving how good you are to somebody else, and proving that you can really succeed on that level. And for me, you know, I had a bunch of things going on at the same time. You know, my now wife was pregnant with my son, so I had to make some big boy decisions. And I decided for myself to stop playing basketball at 27 years old.
Where overseas did you play?
I played my first year, I played in England. My second year, I played in Luxembourg.
It's a whole different culture when you're out there. So what was like one of the weird things you took when you were out there that was like, yo, wow, this is weird, but, you know, I'm here to hoop?
Yeah, for me, when I was over there, I was like a loner because, you know, I didn't really go out like that and stuff like that like my teammates did. I tried one time, and it did not go well. I kind of stayed out to myself. But in England, it was pretty easy to transition. Everybody spoke English, even though it was a little bit different. I was able to adjust to that fairly quickly, but Luxembourg was tough. The language barrier was difficult. The food was different. You know what I mean? I'm very picky when it comes to food. So in both countries, you know, I found one thing or two things that I liked, and that's what I ate the entire time. So I would say for me, that was my thing.
So when you got back, is that when you started MDW?
Yeah.
When you started?
Yeah. So basically, you know, when I left Morehead, I got an agent, right? Got an agent. I sat out for a 4 year before I got my first contract. So, you know, he was telling me this and that. Yeah, we gonna make sure we do this and this. And, you know, for a whole year, I'm at the crib just working out. You know what I mean? So I was already discouraged. I was already kind of upset. And I'm like, man, you know, I know my worth. I know how good I am. I know how hard I worked to get to this point. And, you know, not being able to show exactly or not being able to have that path to get it earlier to where people can actually see how good you really are. And, you know, that was just my dilemma. And I was very frustrated with basketball. And I always knew I didn't want to play forever, but I did want to play meaningful basketball. But like I said, man, just for me, I just was like, nah, I'm done. I'm done. You know, it was too many variables. It was like, you know, me working my way up from the bottom overseas, which I didn't have the time to do with my son. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be gone from my son for 10 months straight. You know what I mean? And then I'm not making enough money to move my family over there, or would my family even want to move over there? You know what I mean?
That's facts,
and make it kind of difficult for them, make their life difficult, and it not being worth it by making the money that I was making. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on the next generation, and I'm going to give them the tools that I never got coming up. And I like working with underdogs. I don't chase star players. I like to build star players from the ground up because I know and I believe in what I'm doing because I work so hard. I study the game like no other every single day. There is no day off for MDW because if I'm not in here, which I am in here every day, I'm watching film, I'm reading rule books, I'm doing different things to prepare myself, I'm talking to officials so I can be the best version of myself for every level that I teach. You know what I mean? So
obviously you've been getting a lot of criticism for the rule book and things like that. And I think what people like are missing is the game is changing. And like I just saw something Slam posted with Keontae George, you know, like he did like the move with the step. And the first person I thought about was you. Like,
but
the first person I thought about,
you know
was
what's
you.
crazy?
So,
a lot of these moves have already been going on. Nobody notices.
Nobody notices.
Nobody pays attention to them.
And then
but now, every time a move is on social media, I get tagged. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Because just as much criticism as I'm receiving, I'm also receiving positive things in my DM. I'm also receiving things from NBA players in my DM asking questions. I'm also receiving a bunch of different things that I really don't put out there like that because I'm doing it for everybody. I'm doing it for just the game itself. And I saw DeMar DeRozan talking about how the game is changing, you know, right there in front of his eyes. He had to sit down with Shannon Sharp. And I was watching that interview last night, and I was like, he's 100% right. And if you see the young stars in the NBA, they already doing it. They already doing it. They're doing it consistently. The Trae Youngs, even guys that are very skilled like Kyrie Irving, these guys are already doing this stuff. Ja Morant, they're already doing it. You know what I mean? I saw in the playoffs, Cameron Payne did one of those moves, and people were tagging me in that. And I'm like, yo, like people been doing this. Y'all just not really paying attention to what's going on.
Like what got you like doing that? Some of the moves you do are extremely creative. Like
right.
like Okay, obviously in a pickup somebody might call it,
Right,
but it's just the fact that you came up with it. I'm like, yo, how does this guy consistently come up with this stuff? Like, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So how do you do it? Like, what's kind of your creative process? And then also, what do you want people to take from some of the moves you're doing?
So basically what it is just applying the rules that are actually there. A lot of people just don't read the rule book. You know, coming up, we got hand-me-down basketball. We didn't get basketball, you know, straight from the rule book like we should. And for me, I'm just like, okay, if it's a law book out there, I want to follow the law. So I started reading it. And I feel like God was just putting people around me that were interested in the same thing. And, you know, I met a couple rule book enthusiasts. I met officials. And, you know, we just started talking basketball. And my mind just opened up. And I was like, you can do what? You really can do this and it's legal? You know what I mean? And it kind of blew my mind. And I'm like, bro, nobody's tapped into the rule book? We've been having basketball since forever. And nobody's tapped into the rule book. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm about to study the rule book. You know, at first I was just being creative, having fun with it because I knew the gather step rule. I already knew the gather step rule. And you could just simply go to Google, type in gather step rule. The NBA official rule book will come up and it'll show you exactly what it is. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, and I started testing the waters with that. You know, some of those were, you know what I mean? But as I started talking to officials more, as I started, you know, really locking in on the rule book and understanding what I'm doing, I've gotten better with it. I've gotten more creative with it, and just taking ideas and inspiration from different moves that I see and adding my twist to it. The thing about me that people don't understand is, if I know the truth, I don't care what your opinion is. You know what I mean? Like, you'll catch on later. And by that time you caught on, I'm gonna be on the next thing. You know, I'm a forward thinker. Like, you know, like my favorite creative people are like Jerry Lorenzo's and Kanye West, like the forward thinking guys that think way beyond where we are right now. And, you know, those are the guys that I'm inspired by. And if you notice, Kanye West for a couple years been getting a whole lot of hate.
Yeah, now everyone loves him. Now everyone loves him.
Kanye West shoes was getting a whole lot of hate at first.
Now as soon as he drops them, the resale price is out the roof.
So it's like I understood that coming into it, and I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it because when you're a leader, you're in the front, so nobody's side by side with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you're a forward thinker, everybody's not going to agree with you. You know what I mean? When people first came out with bikes and cars, and, you know, a lot of people had something to say. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
You know, when people came out with social media, you know, same thing. It's the same thing. When guys are being creative and forward thinking and pushing things forward, it takes people to catch on. And I'm not bothered by any type of criticism, whatever, because I know in the long run, I'm going to be on a whole different level.
What are some of the things you want to teach down to the kids you train, and also just any kid in general that's like getting into hooping, and with your experience, you know, from, you know, high school, college, you know, playing professionally, like what do you want kids to take from you?
What I want kids to take from me is to learn for yourself. So take things from your coaches, but always do your own studying. You should be knowing the rule book, and you should be knowing what's legal if you play this game. Right? Yeah. If you have a better understanding of it when you're playing the game, you probably wouldn't bark at the ref for some of those calls because you know what they're looking for. Right? Build relationship with officials instead of talking down on them. You know what I mean? Because they real people that have a tough job, and we don't take the time out to understand other people. We focused on ourselves, we focused on what we're doing, we're focused on everything going our way, but that's not how it goes. I just want kids to understand, first of all, as of right now, the rule book is different from the NBA, from FIBA, and from the NCAA. Now, the high school and NCAA rule book is pretty similar, pretty spot on, but the NBA is different, FIBA is different. And I see, you know, not trying to talk bad about anybody, and this was me too, before I knew, a lot of trainers are teaching young people NBA moves that aren't legal technically on their level. You know what I mean? So for me, I scaled everything back, and now I teach from the rule book. I teach my guys from the rule book. I teach them, and, you know, a lot of people say, oh, officials aren't ready for that. I teach them around that. So we do everything nearly perfect, to be honest with you, footwork wise.
Yeah.
And I break down everything. I have notes. I have so many things. I just have so many tools because I want to give out all the right knowledge for every level. And I want to know exactly what to teach this group, and this group, you know, based on my knowledge.
So I always play a little game with all my guests. I kind of do it creatively to kind of where you are in your life or what you're facing.
Right.
So I went to your comment section,
Right.
like on some of your posts,
Yep.
and just 5 comments. I want you to give a response to them.
Okay.
That's cool with you?
Yeah.
This is K Hill the first.
Okay.
It's crazy that you have to explain that you don't teach these moves. Shaking my head, people only want to believe the worst. What was your response to that?
Man, that's just the truth, man. That's just the truth. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to him.
This is Christian_Chong. All right, LOL. I feel like every day you post BS on purpose to start controversy, to bring conversation to your page. I ain't hating it work though, cause this a travel all day. What was your response?
Bro, that's like, those comments are weird to me, bro. Like you throw a jab and then you say something positive. Then you throw another jab. It's like,
Pick a side.
just pick a side and stay there. It's okay. You'll catch up later.
CEO Camo 03. Have you done any of these moves under the whistle? If so, what were the results?
That's probably the comment that annoys me the most. I'm not playing basketball. I'm not playing one-on-one. I don't desire to play it. I'm creating moves based off the rule book. Either you like it, you don't, take it or leave it. It's legal. It's been sent to officials before I post it.
GC Bosa. Yes, you're confusing. I think they were responding to one of your comments. He said, yes, you're confusing the youth and saturating basketball with dumb-ish. This is clearly a travel like 99% of your posts. You purposely make controversial-ish that you know damn well is foul. It's foul play.
First of all,
grammar, by the way,
right.
But.
First of all, I have well over 1,500 posts. I have 17 travel and not posts. 17.
17.
So to say
17.
17. So to say someone always posts that, and I only post one a week, so that's 4 a month. You know, and I post every day. So you do the math. And it started in March. So it's like, always. Okay. All right, bet. What was the other point? What else did he say? Let me break some other stuff down.
He said you're saturating basketball with dumb-ish.
Oh,
this
man.
This is clearly a travel like 99% of your posts.
First of all, you saying clearly a travel means that you would actually know something. So if you don't have rules to support what you're saying, then, and if you've never seen this move before, what is backing you? Your opinion, which doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Your opinion about what I'm doing does not matter whatsoever. I asked a simple question. Is this legal or not according to NBA and FIBA rules? It is.
And that's what I try to get people to see. You got to look at like how he's asking the question. He's not saying he would do this. No. He's saying according to the rule book, do you think it's a travel or not? It's equivalent to me. I post stuff like 1 or 2 with a question mark, you know, like certain 2 moves. It's the same question. It's just the fact that like people are annoyed that they haven't seen the move before. But he's not saying he would do it in the game. He's saying that, do you think this is a travel or not?
That's it.
That's all.
That's it. And it's just it's
so you get mad, it's on you.
Right. And it serves multiple purposes, because I think there are some things that you could take away from it, because I think that we'll see a lot of different things moving forward. But I'm just pushing that needle forward, and I want to see other guys be creative as well. I think that makes the game more entertaining. I think that'll draw more people in, the more skilled guys are. And this is the height of basketball.
The last one, Danny P 954. Don't matter what the rulebook says, because that is getting called 100 times out of 100. Like he said, he's asking you the question. Do you think it's a travel?
But no, check this out though. just to be honest with you, the way officials, okay, let's say the first time it was done, the first time it was ever done, let's say they did call it travel, right? They called it travel. That would be a move that officials would study. And this is the part that people don't see, that officials put in work watching hundreds and thousands of plays to be able to call these things correctly, right? So a lot of people are saying, oh, James Harden travels every. No, he doesn't. He really does not. You just don't know what to look for because you have no idea what you're talking about, because you have no idea of the rules. You don't even know about the gather step rule that's been around since 2009. So, you know, for me, you know, a lot of this stuff doesn't really hold too much weight, because when you know something and you know the truth, I mean, it's like, it's more so just annoying as opposed to like it being like actually bothering me.
One thing I do like is I think through you, because of, you know, what you're posting, you know, once a week, I think we're gonna see a lot of like wild-ish, like I can already see it coming that we've never seen before. Like Kyrie, I think he's introduced a couple moves to the game.
Definitely.
Jamal Crawford, you know, remember the behind the back.
Yeah.
You know, so I think through like what you're posting, we're gonna see moves we haven't seen before.
100%.
That's gonna throw people off. Yo, you think this is a travel?
Right. Right.
You know,
I think the awareness is there, and I think, man, when this NBA season starts, bro, and they really see guys using moves like this, I'm like, oh, okay.
Maybe he was right.
maybe he was right. You know, you're going to get like 25% of people like, oh, man, maybe he was right. Then next year, oh, shoot. Then the year after that, oh, he's a genius. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
how it goes.
That's just how it goes, bro. So, for sure.
But thank you for hopping on the show.
No doubt, man.
Like and subscribe. My guy Milton, MDW.
You know
Appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, bro.
You're doing what you're doing.
You know it.
Appreciate you.